this is just insane. But again, we're finding out the people that are responsible are tenants, they're renters. I'm also hearing through the grapevine it's possibility that this was Sarah's parents' house that they were renting. Just some really, and many of these other creators are showing Sarah's very weird TikTok post, some of the things that her and Stacey have said. We watched the court appearance yesterday. We were kind of all like, huh? What's wrong with this lady? Is she on drugs? Is she sleeping? A lot of people don't realize when you're under arrest and you're going through the stresses of this kind of crime and, being picked and prodded all hours of the night. I mean, she's probably being pulled out of her jail cell several times, probably being able to sleep maybe 1 or 2 hours between the time she's being pulled out of her cell, either to be questioned or booked or a combination of them. But your body starts falling asleep. That's a telltale sign. Like, I don't know if you know this, but, there's a lot of people that will go in there and literally, while they're waiting for police, lay on the floor and start trying to fall asleep with all this chaos. It's because of the stress from the case. And it's usually indicative of somebody that's responsible. Most people that aren't responsible for crimes, they can't go to sleep. People that have been caught and stuff like that, and everything starts crashing down on them. The high starts wearing off because it's like almost an adrenaline high that they're going through trying to think of all these lies. Think of how many months she's been over a year she's been carrying all this stuff on her shoulders, whether she was had her hands in it or not. It's still now crashing in, and all of that energy is just wiped out. So it could be that she's just exhausted, and that it is possible. It happens. A lot of people are talking about Michelle After Dark and her disgust over the Idaho News. We don't know. First of all, people are condemning I think it's Eastern Idaho News or something like that for putting out some information that was that has a gag order on it. There was only one document and attachments to that document that were provided a gag order on, and that was the affidavit of probable cause. So, in the attachments to that affidavit of probable cause. Now, a couple of things could have happened. This Eastern Idaho News could have requested these documents through the normal.
Andra, there was no gag order placed on any documents. All court documents were sealed.
Therefore, they had the documents. It was in their possession in a lawful manner, and a judge ordered. I don't know the effects of that order on something that had already been previously distributed, if these actually came from the affidavit itself. There are a few different departments, so it's possible.
One would think that a paralegal would know. I'm just saying.
Possible that they requested this information from a different department. They didn't have the order for the gag order yet. I mean, we don't know how they came across this information. We don't know if this information was truly ordered by the judge to be sealed. We don't know that. We're assuming that. We're assuming that because the affidavit of probable cause, we're assuming that these reports were added to the probable cause affidavit. Were they? They probably were. How did they get them? I don't know. I don't know how they got them. But I can tell you that I listened to Brandy's statement. Not one time did she ever allege Bullhorn Betty or Dolly Vision in any of those statements. Not one time. But these other channels are running with it as if she's talking to us.
No, she didn't mention anyone by name. But you went to Idaho and promised that you would help her, as did Dolly, and you didn't. And now your cohort, JLR, is interviewing potential suspects.
Jonathan Lee Riches investigates, covering the Michael Vaughn case. Let's talk about potential suspects on who is responsible for what happened to Michael Vaughn. An associate of Stacey and Sarah Wandra. In April of 2021, check this, I am digging deeply into the associates, friends, and people centered around Stacey and Sarah Wandra.
Sticking and blocking out all the noise. We have to understand that poor Brandy is not even just under attack, with trying to find out this information. She's being under attack from crazy YouTubers that are stalking her. And trust me, those YouTubers that are stalking her are not Bullhorn Betty, and they are not Dolly Vision. And whoever is doing this to this poor lady needs to stop.
Your friend, JLR.
And I'm so sick and tired of hearing other creators that worked with me on this case bashing me and acting like that they've done something for me when they have never done a damn thing for me in their life. So, there was a few people that were invited out to Idaho. 2 people showed up. End of subject. Nobody did anything for me. You know how I got out there? I got out there because of the coffee clubbers and because of my own bank account. That's how we got out there. And I have to be honest, Dolly helped out a lot as well. So, it's nobody did anything for me or for this case other than Dolly and myself.
Right. And you never said a word about Dolly being there. Never said a word about collaborating with him or whatever else you did with him. Why was that kept a secret? And you still never mention it.
And the coffee club and the turtles. Those are the people that sponsored this trip. Those are the people that paid for signs, paid for the banners, that paid for, the rentals, that paid for our rooms. But yeah, I don't care what other creators said, that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been out there. No, that's not true, because I went out there. So let's make sure that you're factual in your statements, please. But I do believe that high-profile case. This is something that the family's going to have to understand. This is something,
and thus why Betty is now paying attention to it. Now that they have suspect, now you're going to pay attention to it. Brandy asked people to stop talking about it, except to keep his name out there and show his poster, which you never do, ever. Now speculate.
That their representatives are going to have to understand. This is, now that names are out there, and it's not me. I mean, it's everybody. It's everybody on YouTube. It's even your favorite creators like Michelle Walks, Michelle After Dark, whatever she goes on, does. She tears these cases apart too. So the idea that nobody's going to be looking into this case, and nobody's going to be looking into these people, and nobody's going to be curious, and nobody's going to reach out to them. There are literally...
Yeah, you were asked not to reach out to them. That's what she asked. Let law enforcement handle it. Move on.
If I feel I need to go to Idaho this time of year, I need to go to Idaho this time of year. We'll just see. I've been to Idaho. It's a beautiful state.
I've seen you do some low stuff, Mallory. This takes the cake. Were you doing this for money? Why else would you do it? Why do you do anything? Why are you kissing Molly's ass? I saw when she gave you the 100 that got it all started. You're a whole bitch right now, Mallory. Oh my God. She can hear the excavators from her house. They're digging to try to find her 5-year-old son, who is dead. And you're going to preach to her about YouTube right now. You have some great friends, Mallory. Great friends.
It is game on. It's game on. I saw 6 cars go by.
Yeah.
Listen, that's a very live statement right there, right?
Yes.
How many more cars do you think are going to go by after making statements like this and making yourself present on YouTube in situations like this, right? And the more people that air you and show...
No more, because the cops blocked it off, and they're watching the people that go by. It's a very rural residential street.
Videos like this, ma'am, right? And the more people that analyze every word that comes out of your mouth, every facial expression, every nuance, trying to peel back the layers of your onion over and over and over again, including your spouse. Listen, how many more cars? That's 6 cars, right? Wait, why do you have people standing out in front of your house? Wait a minute, listen, I could be standing out in front...
Why would anyone stand outside of her house? Why? What? For what purpose? Mallory, you're being an idiot.
Your house, lady. I've been known. Listen. I mean, I could actually be standing out in front of your house. All I would ask is that, listen, please.
Go stand in front of her house. Please go stand in front of her house. Please. Do it.
Have a beverage. Will you please have beverages? Have something cold to offer. Please, Jesus.
She's listening to excavators trying to dig her son out of a backyard where she can hear it. And you're asking her to give you cold drinks if you go out there and stand in front of her house? You cold bitch. You're doing this for money and clicks and views. She's doing this because she's pleading for her baby boy. Justice, because she knows he's not alive. She knows this now. And you want a cold drink? Girl, I'll give you a cold drink. Come stand in front of my house. Okay? Because I don't think I'd do much time for a cold drink in your face.
Did your refrigerator have an ice maker? Do you got... God, please tell me your refrigerator has an ice... They should have told her. Listen, we'll be more than happy to help you do what we can do, but we've got to warn you. It's going to come with a cost. It will come with a cost. There's going to be people on here that are going to deep dive into your life. They're going to deep dive into the case.
Yeah. It's over. No need for that anymore. Because now, JLR was handed... here's what JLR does. Goes to the Facebook page of this woman that's in jail, looks at her friends, runs his been verified on all of them, bingo, hits the jackpot with a guy that lewdness with children or whatever, and he could be a suspect. Who knows? So JLR acts like he did some deep dive investigation, which my dog could do, and he's throwing that up. What good is that doing? How is that helpful? Is he going to call him next, record it without telling him, and put it online? I would imagine he is. Well, I don't know. I think the guy's in jail. How's that helpful at this point? All it does at this point, now that JLR knows exactly who the suspects are, how is it helpful for him to interfere?
They will be reaching out and contacting anybody for information. They should have been truthful. I've been here a very long time. And if you don't prepare somebody for that, you have failed that person. I mean, I'm no true crimer.
No, you're not. No.
I don't know nothing.
You don't.
Right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Justin would not just, he wouldn't do that to somebody, especially somebody so vulnerable as this lady. You wouldn't do it. Justin would say, listen, I would love to help you, share your story, get the word out, because YouTube has a lot of viewers, right? You never know who could have said what. Not so much of it, at this point, have you seen the little boy, but has anybody overheard a conversation, right? I could have heard somebody say that boy's name in a convenience store, in a wall. I could have heard any kind of mention of, listen, I could have heard, listen.
Yeah, you know where they take those kind of tips? Now that you're in true crime, I'll let you know. You take those kind of tips to the police, not to Justin, for God's sake. Last time Justin got really involved with someone involved in a case, that guy's no longer with us. So, just saying.
Just for curiosity, how deep of a hole would I need to dig to bury a small child? Looking for a shovel at Home Depot, right? Anybody? Boy, that's a weird question. Somebody might have taken note, right? And then they could have went and got a video. You never know. YouTube is a very large place and it's got a lot of ears and eyes.
Yeah, well, so far, in all the years that I've been here and associated with true crime, that hasn't happened. No one's ever solved a case. We can bring up the Bethumes, and they went through their videos, which was awesome. But they didn't solve a case.
So I can understand, but Justin, he would not have this lady on here and not prepare her for all avenues of what's going to happen.
Oh, like he prepared Jose for what was going to happen? Is that what you mean? Let him know the circus it was going to turn into? Right.
Right? You're going to probably have people showing up to your house. They're either going to be heckling or they're going to be supporting, but either way, they're going to be there in the name of this missing child. Any way you cut it. Nobody's going to be there dragging your child. That's going to be the commonality. Everybody's there going to be in the name and the honor of that missing child, even if you have to take a beating, even if your husband takes a beating.
No, that's going to end. That's going to end. She's a victim, as is her husband. Don Wells and Candace Wells are victims. We don't beat up on victims. I mean, where you come from, probably. Your little corner of the hell. Oh my God, I can't.
Be willing to take the beating. As long as your child is in that spotlight. Media trucks are coming.
No. You don't get to beat up victims just to get you can put their child's name out there, and you can sleuth. I don't know why people feel like they have to. What is it? What good has it ever done? Look at the heels on the ground squirrels. What good did they do? None. You don't beat up victims.
2 ears and eyes are watching. Be willing to take the goddamn beating. Jesus Christ put himself up on a goddamn cross. Right? Jesus Christ apparently was willing to take the goddamn beating for everybody else. So I think if you're the parent...
Okay, being a victim and being a saint. Oh, I'm sure Brandy would give her life for her son. But no parent should be willing to have their lives ruined. No parent is willing to have their lives ruined and have their family's lives ruined, their other children's lives ruined, their Facebook friends' lives ruined, their careers ruined by a bunch of reprobates, a bunch of idiots and clout chasers on YouTube. That's not the same as Jesus, I hate to tell you.
Or the grandmother, Billy Joe.
And you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You didn't know who this woman was 5 days ago. And you're making all these judgments. And let me congratulate you on not asking for money since it started. Just a little video here.
Or to the reality and try to keep our emotions out of it. Keep our, keep our how much we think we should like her or dislike her out of it and just go with the facts.
I can't imagine going through and you're going to pile on. She was at work. You're going to call her a bad mother? You cunt. You're a cunt, Mallory. You're despicable. You belong with the rest. Unbelievable. And Betty's over there. Oh, she's my friend, and it just must be terrible what she's going through. Y'all deserve each other.
If you've got other things to do about the house and you're not able to...
don't victim shame. You don't like the trans people. You don't like anyone shaming you. But you're going to victim shame this mother. Well, you were being nice, Deets. I kind of went.
Those things and monitor your children at the same time. Bring in a sitter until the other parent can get home.
Oh, really?
Right?
You think people have that kind of money? They're not sitting around begging for money all day long, Mallory. They're working for it. Have a sitter come in while you change the baby's diaper? Yeah, Deets, you're being very nice, but kids can get out no matter what you do, unless you want to put bars on your doors and windows.
Stand trial. She may have some mental illness. She may be diagnosed with something, but she's able to answer the judge's questions. She was able to speak to, the detectives when they were at her house.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the Eastern. Was that on Twitter or was it on Facebook? The Eastern Idaho News with the paperwork. Eastern Idaho News.
East Idaho News, not Eastern. Because it's East Idaho
Eastern
News.
Idaho County News clip from East Idaho News. Okay, so that's what it is. East Idaho News, not Eastern.
Yeah.
All right, there we are. One charge of failing to report. So let's just read this and see what all this has to say real quick.
Okay.
Related to Michael Monkey Bond. It says, Idaho statesman, police stand. What the allegations are made. They're understanding. That's the problem. They're not going to be able to do that because my understanding of how the law works and how it's applied is for you to be incompetent to stand trial. You can't understand. You can't help in your own defense. You can't communicate with your attorneys. It seems like she was doing all of those things in that hearing with that judge. So I don't think she's going to be deemed incompetent to stand trial in the least. However, judge asked her if she understood against what was against her, but maintained they're not correct. When Lee informed her of her rights, she said, I don't have any reason to be silent because I didn't do anything wrong. Insanity plea, but it can rule that she can't withstand a trial. She understood. There's a lot that goes into that. People don't realize. Like right now, she's answering. They're already showing that she can help in her own trial. And he did it, and the judge did it very well. He was asking her questions, and she was responding to him. If she was sitting there and didn't say a thing, then yes, they can say that she can't, that she needs a mental evaluation and is incompetent to stand trial. But that's not what you're seeing here.
Now, the judge ordered a mental evaluation. Okay? You should read. You just spout shit off without knowing what you're talking about all the time.
She was answering questions. She was cognizant. She knew what he was talking about. That was the only requirement necessary to prove that she is competent to stand trial. He already eliminated that with him asking her questions related to appointing her an attorney. If she would have sat there and was stone-faced and didn't answer any questions that the courts had, then yeah, she'd have a better defense in saying that she cannot, that she's incompetent to stand trial and cannot help in her own defense. But clearly she can. So, yes.
Here you go, Andra. Fayette County prosecuting attorney Michael Duke reportedly sought to have Wander's bond set at $1 million. Judge Lee set Wander's bond at $500,000 and also ordered her to undergo a mental health evaluation. Okay.
I truly believe that Brandy should not be on here because this has got to be some of the worst stuff you could possibly hear at the worst time of your life. And, at the end of the day,
you care now.
Will continue to go on, whether it hurts Brandy or not.
Yeah.
It's not our intention to hurt, even like I'm sure Purple wasn't her intention to hurt, but she did. And then she tried to blame me for it, and that was...
because it was your fault. She didn't break the news, you did. That's where she got it. So she assumed Brandy knew. She didn't think Brandy didn't know about it.
When they blame me, I'm doing good, right? Because I'm doing so good that they have to blame me for crap that I didn't even do, just to smear my name, because I'm doing such good work, and they can't stand it. They can participate, but they won't because they're too greedy. That's what it comes down to.
Would you do me a favor and go ahead and list all the good work you've done? I'm curious. Then, that way, when you say that and people say, oh, she's not done anything, I can give them a list.
The reason why they don't leave their house, the reason why they don't buy plane tickets, is because they're doing exactly what they're accusing me of doing.
Which is?
But there are a lot of people that are getting wise to that. I mean, you can only beat up people for so long and have the same arguments, right? It's like, can you come up with something new besides grifter and picking the bones off and tragedy pimps and all this other stuff? Like, it's getting boring. You guys can't come up with any other creative words than that. Like, every other week, we're coming up with new and creative words about the Sob Squad. Like, we're calling them cockroaches, Sob Squad. The Antichrist. You know, I mean, like we change our names for you quite often to keep it lively for our audience. I mean, you guys.
I mean, stupid is all we've ever called you. I mean, you don't have to get creative. Or strangler. I'll give you that.
Still peddle the same nonsense and the same crap over and over again. Oh my God! Oh, Betty was arrested. You know what? They're looking into me still, like after a year. And you know what they found out? This is what they found out.
No,
they found out
please.
that everything I've said has been true. Like, I'm watching them eat their words. I'm watching that crazy Sue's lady, right? And she's like, oh, that's another one she squeezed out of. It's like, no, I didn't squeeze out of another charge, lady. It was a false charge. It was under a lie. And I went to court and it was found not.
No. Okay? I can pull up most of your domestic violence charges, and every one of them that I can remember looking at are dismissed with prejudice, which means it can be opened again at any time.
The death of her grandson. There ain't no way in hell, Randy.
Okay, well, she allowed you and Dolly into her house and was going to team up with you, so I don't know why you think you're so much better than Billy Joe. I really don't know why you think you're so much better. You've been busted for drugs, you've been busted for violence, drinking, stalking. We don't even need to get into Dolly. So, just saying.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I would probably, I don't know what I would do, but that would be horrible. That would be horrible. I don't see a mother that had her son stolen from her working with a woman that could care less about her grandson. I don't see that happen. I mean, stranger things have happened. I just truly, I've met Brandy.
Because you say she could care less about her grandson? Or because it's the truth? Because you don't know. You spread bullshit. That's why people hate you, okay? This right here is why people hate you.
I've met Brandy, and she does not seem like she would be interested in that at all. If she heard the facts of the case, and if she's been watching this channel, she definitely knows the facts of the case. And she knows damn well I never rolled up
And
her
I'm
house
pretty
like that.
sure you were just trolled because you're so easy.
But I damn sure rolled up on Billy Joe's house like that. And I'm sure she will take that into consideration because I have a great batting average on YouTube. A great batting average.
What?
A hell of a lot more, better batting average than my counterparts, right? The ones that like to protect baby killers and shit. Like Billy Joe.
What's a batting average?
I think shit should only be like 50 cents, guys. I don't know. We got their neighbors next door to them and one of their friends in the car that have horrible, horrible records when it comes to children. So the Wandras were actually hanging out with people that had these kinds of charges in their back, and it's multiple people, okay? Multiple people that are RSOs. Multiple people in and around.
After being asked to stop, you continue with your little slimy friend, JLR. You respect Brandy so much.
Their life that were RSOs. Is this a ring?
Oh my God.
in that community we don't know about, and the underbelly of this Fruitland, Idaho population.
Could be.
Because, quite frankly, you know, I don't know if I have, maybe I do. I don't know if I hang out or associated or have one family member that has been convicted.
Dolly's brother is a registered sex offender because he had sex with his daughter. And he videoed all the information. Have you watched it? You brought him into the fold the other night and said he was your cousin, sister, brother, I don't remember. But think about your statement.
Or accused of a crime such as this, let alone having 3 people in and around my world, close to my world, that are RSOs. That's the problem I'm having here. Why are there so many RSOs around the Wanderers? That needs to be the question we're asking.
Sure, ask Dolly.
And again, it saddens me that this is the revelation we are learning.